The man, the myth, the legend, Julio Rodríguez is having a whirlwind 2022. The favorite for the AL Rookie of the Year has whopped 21 homers, poached 23 bags, won the home run derby even if he technically lost, and signed a new bajillion-dollar contract extension that will keep him in Seattle until the oceans rise and humanity becomes extinct. Sounds exhausting, yeah? Believe it or not, Julio's 2021 season was even wilder than this year. And that's all because he compiled more travel miles and spent more time on planes than anybody else has ever done in a single minor league season.
So you've been kicking ass in 2022, but what I really want to talk about is your 2021.
Okay.
Because you had the craziest year in baseball history.
As a 20-year-old, Julio played on 5 different teams, played in 4 different countries, and logged over 40,000 airline miles in the process. This is the story of Julio Rodríguez's Wild World Tour. Most minor league baseball players have a pretty straightforward travel situation. In a given year, they go from their off-season home to spring training, and then to the affiliate where they spend most of the season. At the lower levels, minor league teams almost exclusively travel by bus and will rarely, if ever, get on a single airplane. In 2021, Julio Rodríguez took approximately 22 flights.
I started in Tampa, spring training. After that, I had to report with High A team, Florida, to play for the Dominican. Came back to High A, went to Mexico, back to Double A. But before that, I think I went to the Future Stars game.
No, okay, so I know better than he does.
So Julio had spent so much time in the air flying from place to place that the details over time had gotten understandably hazy. Thankfully, he's a very consistent poster on the gram, which gives us a very nice running log of his entire 2021 season. Let's dig in. He rang in the new year in the Dominican Republic at a spot in Santiago. The next week, he flew back to Tampa, where he lives and trains in the off-season. Then in mid-February, he got on a plane and flew to Arizona for spring training with the Mariners. He spent the next 2 months or so there because the minor league season didn't start until May. That was the longest he spent in any single place. Once minor league camp was over, he flew to Everett, Washington, where the team has its High A affiliate. He spent about a month there with road trips to Hillsboro, Oregon, Spokane, Washington, and Vancouver, Canada. At the end of May, he flew to Port St. Lucie, Florida to play an Olympic qualifier with the Dominican national team. There, the DR team finished second out of 4 and qualified for yet another qualifier. After that, Julio flew back to Everett, where he spent 2 more weeks with the Aqua Sox before rejoining the DR team for that final qualifier, which was in, you guessed it, Puebla, Mexico. Thankfully, the Dominicans won that tournament and qualified for the Olympics. While he was in Mexico, the Mariners promoted Julio to their Double-A affiliate, the Arkansas Travelers, which are in Little Rock. But at the time, the team was on the road in Tulsa. Julio flew there. He would then spend 2 weeks with the Travelers before he got selected for the MLB Futures game in Denver. So he flew from Arkansas to Coors Field in Colorado. From the Futures game, Julio flew to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where his Arkansas Travelers team was on the road against the Northwest Arkansas Naturals. After a week or so with the Travelers, he then flew to Tampa for a couple days of practice with the Dominican team before the Olympics. The team bussed from Tampa to Miami, flew from there to Newark, and then took a direct flight from New Jersey all the way to Tokyo. That 13.5-hour flight is no joke. How did a young and restless kid like Julio stay busy on such a long flight?
From reading books, listening to music, to just go mess with some of my teammates.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of things. You can do a lot of things in the flight from here to Japan.
In Tokyo, they captured the bronze medal, the nation's first in Olympic competition. Julio played a big role in that. The whole team, including Julio, flew back to Los Angeles, where they had one last dinner as a crew before going their separate ways. This is where things get particularly funny for Julio. So he gets on a plane to Arkansas. His team is in Little Rock, Arkansas. His plane is headed for Fayetteville. Here's the story from Julio's perspective.
From LA
Yeah.
to Arkansas. I flew into Arkansas, but definitely not the right airport in Arkansas.
Yeah.
I went to Northwest Arkansas where the Royals were playing.
Yeah.
I was supposed to be in Little Rock where our team was playing.
Right.
So I flew in Northwest Arkansas. I was like, okay, let me get an Uber. Whenever I put the address and all that, the Uber said almost 2 hours or something. I was like, hold on. I refreshed it and everything. Whenever I put it in again, and that's whenever I realized, okay, I'm in Northwest Arkansas, whenever it was supposed to be in Little Rock.
So what did you took the Uber?
Nah, so I had to wait until next day, and we got a flight to Little Rock. I had to go from Northwood, Arkansas to Dallas, Little Rock. Yeah. And I was in the whole jet lag.
Oh, because you were on Tokyo
time.
time.
Coming from Tokyo, man, that was experience.
So Julio gets back to the correct city in Arkansas on August 12th, takes a day off on August 13th, and on August 14th, immediately goes 2 for 4. After the Olympics, Julio played for the Travelers for about a month or so, finishing up the minor league season with them. Once that season ended, he flew home to Santiago for a bit, spent some time in the Dominican Republic, and then, hilariously, for the first time all year, he went to Seattle. For the Mariners' final series of the season, Julio and a bunch of other minor leaguers were invited to come to T-Mobile Park to accept awards for their play during the year. That weekend also happened to be a super crucial one for the big league club, who needed to beat the Angels as many times as possible to have a shot at the postseason. Even though the Mariners eventually fell just short, Seattle's win on that Saturday night behind Mitch Haniger's go-ahead 2-run RBI single was an electric moment that fans will remember forever. Fans, including Julio Rodríguez, because yes, he was there for it all. In fact, he stayed and watched the entire game from the stands in right field. Here's what he remembers from that weekend.
It was kind of surreal, to be honest.
Yeah,
you just like kind of see the whole city, how we came out together, like the whole energy that the team had around them. It was just really cool to see it just from the stands. And like, I would say now that I'm able to stay on that field, it feels pretty good because I saw it from the outside first. Now I'm like inside playing there.
Yeah, you got to be a fan like for the last time.
Yeah.
After that wild trip to Seattle, Julio went back home to Santiago for a bit before the instructional league started up in Arizona, early November-ish. After that was done, he flew back to his off-season base in Tampa, where he trained for most of December, before one final flight, home to the DR to celebrate Christmas, his birthday on December 29th, and New Year's. All together, Julio tallied approximately 22 flights, not including connections, 100 or so hours of air travel, and by my back-of-the-napkin calculations, 42,687 total miles. Sheesh! The wildest part? He was good at baseball the whole freaking time. Across his 74 minor league games with Everett, Arkansas, he slashed .347, .441, .560, good for a 1,001 OPS. Were his legs tired? Couldn't tell, because he also swiped 21 bases.
What was it that made you want to do all of that travel, that want to play for all those different places?
I mean, I feel like I always wanted to play for like a Dominican team. Like, I always wanted to be able to represent the team. And at first, I wasn't sure if the Mariners were going to allow me to do that.
Yeah.
And my agent talked to them, and they came up to me and say, okay, if you feel like you want to do this, like, we'll support you. Whenever they said that, if they're gonna support me, then I'm gonna go with the Dominican team, just help them out and see where we'll go. And it turned out pretty well.
You got a medal?
Yeah, I got a medal. Nobody can say I got a medal.
Honestly, it's pretty remarkable that the Mariners trusted their top prospect, their most valuable youngster, the future face of their entire franchise, to spend an entire year traveling the globe playing for the Dominican team. Why did they allow him to go on such a journey?
I feel like they wanted me to get that experience, like playing like older guys in different environment, like with the pressure that like it demanded. It was a one in a lifetime for me, probably.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I would be able to play with the Olympics no more. So like being able to like have all that exposure and like having to perform, I feel like that was why they allowed me to go and put myself in that state.
Last question: what do you think you learned? Like, what from that experience do you take away from it?
Whenever there's like a lot of things going on, a lot of things in the outside, or like one in a lifetime situation, okay, I gotta perform here and now, no matter how I feel, no matter what. So I feel like that was kind of like what I learned. Whenever you have that bigger treasure like ahead of you right there, like something that you can drive to.
Yeah, man.
It was definitely different, man.
Julio Rodríguez is a superstar, a one-of-a-kind player and a magnificent personality for the game as a whole. Decades from now, he'll be remembered for what he accomplished at the big league level, no doubt, with perhaps even a plaque in upstate New York to show for it. But his 2021 season traveling the globe in the minor leagues, playing for the Dominican national team, will forever stand out to him as a once-in-a-lifetime experience. An experience that only a player like Julio could have handled. An experience that helped to shape Julio into the superstar he is today. That's the story of Julio's journey. If you enjoyed, make sure you like and subscribe down below for more videos just like this. If you think I missed any of Julio's flights, yell at me in the comments and I'll do my best to make some edits. Other than that, I hope everyone has a phenomenal day. Peace and love.